Welcome to Map Your Mind. Travel through the world with your brain. Let your mind drift across time to the meeting point of continents, where Europe kisses Asia, where East meets West, and history never sleeps. This is Turkey, a land that has witnessed the birth of empires, the clash of civilizations, and the unbroken thread of human resilience. A place where every stone, every ruin, and every whispering wind carries the memory of millennia. From ancient Anatolia to the rise and fall of imperial giants, let's step into the soul of Turkey. Once, long before nations, borders, or war maps, the land now known as Turkey was Anatolia, one of the oldest continually inhabited regions on Earth. Here, 12,000 years ago, people settled in Göbekli Tepe, a site that predates the pyramids and Stonehenge, a ring of ancient stone pillars, carved with animals and symbols, whispers of a civilization we barely understand. Even back then, Turkey was a cradle of human wonder. The Hittites emerged around 1600 BCE, fierce warriors and builders of an early empire that spanned much of central Anatolia. They clashed with mighty Egypt in one of history's first peace treaties, after the famous Battle of Kadesh. Then came the Phrygians, the Lydians, the Urartians, each leaving behind gold, temples, myths, and echoes. It was the Lydians who invented coins, turning precious metal into money. But it was the Greeks who brought marble cities and legends. Along Turkey's western coast, the Greeks built the city of Troy, immortalized in Homer's Iliad. They laid the foundations of Ephesus, Pergamon, and Smyrna, cities that glittered with philosophy, science, and art. The Temple of Artemis in Ephesus, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, once towered here. Then, like a tidal wave, came Rome. By the time of the Roman Empire, Anatolia became a vital eastern province. But the winds shifted once more in 330 CE when Emperor Constantine founded a new capital, Constantinople, a city of gold domes, mosaics, and divine ambition. The Eastern Roman Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, rose, and for over 1,000 years, Constantinople was the jewel of the Christian world. But empires rise, and empires fall. In 1453, the world changed forever. The young Sultan Mehmed II, only 21 years old, brought cannons to the city walls. Constantinople fell, and from its ashes rose Istanbul, the crown jewel of a new empire, the Ottomans. The Ottoman Empire became one of the most powerful forces in world history. From the 15th to the 20th century, it stretched from Hungary to Mecca, from Algiers to Baghdad. It was an empire of sultans, scholars, soldiers, and visionaries. Suleiman the Magnificent ruled at its peak, not only expanding borders but codifying laws, funding arts, and shaping the Islamic world. Istanbul buzzed with life, bazaars, mosques, libraries, and music. Hagia Sophia, once a church, now a mosque, stood as a symbol of the layered soul of the city. But as centuries passed, the Ottoman heart grew weary. The empire stumbled into decline, entangled in war and colonial pressure. World War I sealed its fate. The Allied powers carved up its remains. Yet from this collapse, a new flame would rise. Enter Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, the father of modern Turkey. A soldier, a visionary, and a force of will. In 1923, he founded the Republic of Turkey, carving a secular, independent nation from the rubble of empire. He abolished the caliphate, introduced Latin script, and fought for women's rights. He turned the gaze of the nation toward modernity, science, and sovereignty. His reforms were radical, controversial, nation-shaping. Turkey walked into the 20th century as both heir to empires and a newborn state, caught between tradition and transformation, between the East it once ruled and the West it now joined. Today, Turkey is a nation of contrast and complexity. Istanbul's skyline blends Ottoman domes with glass skyscrapers. The beaches of Antalya shimmer, while Cappadocia's fairy chimneys reach into the sky. In Kurdish villages, folk songs still echo in the hills. In bustling cities, the youth dance between heritage and innovation. It is a land where the call to prayer mingles with street vendors' calls, where ancient ruins stand beside Wi-Fi cafes, where a cup of tea means friendship, and where history is never buried, it's lived. Fun fact, the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul is one of the oldest and largest covered markets in the world, dating back to the 15th century and housing over 4,000 shops. It's not just a marketplace, it's a living museum of commerce, culture, and color. So the next time you hear the name Turkey, don't just think of geopolitics or travel guides. Think of a land that has carried the dreams of gods, emperors, poets, and rebels. A nation layered like the sediment of time, each era resting atop the next. Turkey isn't just where East meets West. It's where the world meets itself. Stick around, there's a whole world to uncover, right here on Map Your Mind. Where to next?